let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna move this away for the moment. So what of the, well, actually, let's look at it for a second. Can anybody tell me which direction the light is coming from in this picture?
Above,
right.
right.
Above right, yes. How can you tell?
Because you can tell that the way that the light is kind of coming down this way.
Right.
You can see where the shadows are.
And notice the shadows are like, notice where the lightest areas are, right? Here, here, and here. Okay, so there is a way that light hits rounded objects and actually, interestingly enough, notice it's a little bit hard to see, but notice that actually when the lights, in most cases, when the light is hitting an object, it's hitting the top, the closest part. In this cylinder, which we'll talk about in a second, it's actually darker here and lighter over here. In the inside of this cylinder, we will talk about that. So don't worry, we'll get there later. But yeah, so there are actually rules for how light hits an object, and we're going to practice them right now. Just get a blank sheet of paper, and we're going to start by drawing a sphere. So you can go ahead, and once I do this, you can kind of follow along with me. I'm drawing just a circle. I'm going to draw a sphere on the table. So I'm starting out just with the circle, and then right, this is the table behind. And then this is the shadow. So here you can see, right, the shadow is here, right? It's coming off this way. In this particular case, the light is going to be coming from this direction. So go ahead and sketch that in. Just a circle, straight lines, and a curved line. Don't panic if this doesn't look exactly right, or you feel nervous or shaky. One of the things I like to tell people about classes, particularly art classes, and particularly my classes, because you're always doing something, you're always working on a project, is that you may not do well in that while you're working on it. So let your body kind of adjust to the tool, adjust to the rhythm. And you also might take a moment right now to observe how you feel. Anything, like you're tired, you're excited, you're calm, you're nervous, you're agitated, whatever it is that you're feeling, notice that. We're going to check halfway through the class, and we're going to check again at the end of class to see if anything shifts. So just quietly notice to yourself how you feel. And then we're going to add a little bit, and at this point I want to talk about value. So value is the lightness or darkness of any color. Since we're working in gray and white or black and white, let's say a 1 is very light and a 5 is very dark. You can go ahead and do this along with me if you want to, which means that 2, 3, and 4 are going to be ranging from lightish to medium to dark. So maybe a 2 is like this, and a 3 is a little bit darker. You might find when you lay your 3 down that you have to kind of adjust your 2. I'm using my finger to do that, sort of blend it out a little bit. You could use your eraser too, right? And 4. We're going to be reviewing in this class over time different ways to shade, but I want you not to worry about that right now so much. I want you more thinking about just creating values with your pencil using any mark making technique that feels right to you. So let's do a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. And I'm going to send a picture of this over the WhatsApp thread, and you can send it back to me when you've done your drawing, if you want to. I don't like to put people on the spot. Well, I kind of do, but not only if they're ready for it. So go ahead and get started with that. This is the light source. Let's see. What's nice about the thread is we can kind of look at things, and you're going to stay on the thread whether you come to class or not. So you'll get to see all the materials as they come through. If you miss class, all of the classes are recorded and on our YouTube link. So I will get that for you. Right now, we're just adjusting. Let's see. Sandra, you jumped ahead.
Yes, I figured it was a shadow. Sorry.
But yes, that's okay. But in general, this will be a good exercise. Good job. 4 and 5 are a little bit close, but it's tricky to get that right. So we'll just keep adjusting. We'll be able to do that. Very nice.
Just a pencil.
It is hard with the pencil. Everything's hard. The paintbrush is hard. The pencil is hard.
Wow,
but I like this
because,
right? But I like this because it's moving us back, and you're going to start to see how this is going to help you with your painting. Let's see. Charcoal's fine, Claudia. Yeah, charcoal's easier to get the darks and the lights. Good job. All right. So our next step, we're going to start by, so the light source is coming from here, which means that the lightest part of this sphere is here. But we're going to actually start with sort of sketching in our background. So I want you to do a fairly dark sketch of a wall behind the ball, behind the sphere. So you'll do that. And then this is a little bit lighter. So if this is like, I don't know, a 3.5 or maybe even a 4, this is like a 3. So Sandra, you'll be able to adjust, not quite as dark. I'd say this is like a 3.5.
By the way, is the line is supposed to be
the wall
on the same plane, right?
Yeah.
Because
They
it
should be
looks
lined
like
up.
slightly different.
They should be lined up.
Okay,
Yep.
Thank you.
They should be lined up. There we go. Yep. So you've got like a 3.5. You've got like a 3.
One side should be darker than the other side.
We'll get there. No, this should all be kind of even, right? Fairly even. This should be fairly even. And then when we get to what we call the coarse shadow, which is here, this is like a 5. So right here, it's really dark. It's where, so if the light is coming from here, it's exactly diametrically opposite, which makes sense, right? So if the light's coming from this direction, this is the darkest part. This is really the darkest part, where the sphere hits the ground opposite the light source, and the sphere is blocking the light from coming in. You'll notice here that the rest of the shadow is more like a 4. So this is what we call the cast shadow, and it's the darkest, the cast shadow, right? So, oops, something happened with my light there. So this is cast shadow, and it's a 4. And this is the darkest part of the cast shadow. Cast meaning the sun's hitting it and it's kind of coming over, you know, and it's the shadow that's cast by the object. It's not the actual object itself. Darkest part. And I will send a picture of this so you guys can see it, and then take a say you're lucky you're coming in now. These guys have trained me pretty well to slow down, to slow my roll. So So I now stop. I send a picture of the step so you can see it and then give you some time. And I encourage you to jump in and say, no, don't go forward yet. Stop. If you need more time. Not everybody works at the same pace, so I don't expect everybody to get this exactly right, but yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, look at your picture for tomorrow. That's great. Is anybody here gonna join tomorrow's pastel class, which actually starts at
Yes.
On the hour and not a half an hour afterwards? All right. If you're already on the thread, I'll add you. Are you Paul?
Yeah, I will try. I tried last week to get to it. So, but yes, I'm more committed this week. So.
All right. Let me get you in here. Say, Ham, do you want to try landscapes tomorrow and pastel?
What
Oh,
time
you're
is
already
it?
in. It's actually at 7 o'clock your time.
I could potentially do it, yeah.
All right. I'll get you in. I'll add you
I'll
in.
confirm as well.
Yeah. Do you have pastels?
I don't, but I have an art shop like right next to
Okay. Well, it should be, I mean, even just to watch and to try along with what you have is totally good. All right, go ahead and send that in when you guys are ready, and we will. Sorry, this got a little smudged. It's a
I'm
little
having
bit
trouble
darker.
with lightening
Darker than
the
it should be.
wall.
You're having trouble with the wall? Why?
Lightening the wall.
Lightening the wall? Why
Yes.
are you lightening the wall?
Because otherwise it's almost as dark as the cast shadow.
It should be almost as dark as the cast shadow, honey.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Sorry, let me get that a little bit darker.
Just
So
a
that's
disclaimer,
good.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's good. That's good. Hold on to that feeling.
Okay.
Are you using colored pencil? Okay.
I don't, it turned out blue. I intended to buy a pencil, but apparently I haven't bought a pencil.
All right. So we'll get you geared up. Use what you got. Yes, and I like that you don't know what you're doing. That's because it's rare, right? Most of the time we know what we're doing. And so it's really great. And I know you don't know where this is going even. So that's really great.
Don't.
So follow along with me, baby. I'll take you.
Yeah.
All right. So that's good. Claudia. Not bad, Claudia. This part is lighter. Can you lighten this a little bit? And this part is darker. The wall's a little bit darker, and this part that's not the cast shadow is a little lighter. Paul, yeah, don't forget to do a very light.
Oh, you sent it to landscape painting.
Oh, I did?
No, Paul did.
Yeah,
Paul did. No, he sent it to beginning drawing. Oh, I see. Yep, I see it. Maybe he sent it to both. All right. Paul, not bad. So Paul, it's darker here. It's darkest here. There's a little dark edge here. Don't forget that. Don't lose that. Okay. All right. So the next thing that we know is that as the light comes down and it hits this sphere, this is really, have you ever noticed this kind of white dot on an object? A kind of bright flash? So
Okay.
that's like, yeah, that's the highlight. And that's usually about here. So this is the highlight. This will be the lightest area. Like super light, might be bright. And then here around it, this is light. So this area is light. And as we turn away, let's see, how do I want to structure this? As we turn away, so this sphere has sides. It has sides. How do I know that? I can see that this side, there's a bottom. to the sphere. We like to think of this sphere as one, as it all being in front and looking at us. But in reality, this sphere starts to turn away about here. Whoops, here, let me make that a little bit darker so you can see it. So about here, this becomes the second side of a sphere. Let me revisit this for just a minute. So a cube has sides, right? Right? We recognize this is one side, this is one side, this is one side. We also recognize that these sides, right? A sphere also has sides, but because it doesn't have sharp edges, it's hard to see them. However, this is about the point where the sphere turns around. So once the sphere turns around from the light source, it starts to get a little bit darker. I'm just very quickly doing this. And then as it gets further away, closer to the ground, it gets even darker. So there is, remember how we were working with blending yesterday, you guys, with the brush? This is blending with the pencil. I'm going to bring it all the way to the edge here. And you're going to do a transit. So you are going to shade in a transition between light and dark, a medium and dark. So this is about, if you're trying to show an object turning away, this is about a 3. This is what we call the halftone. And this is the coarse shadow, not the cast shadow, but the coarse shadow. So the coarse shadow is pretty dark. It's probably, and notice how I'm kind of going back and forth between trying to distinguish the 3. The coarse shadow is a 4. And then right before we turn around, and this is really interesting, I'm going to sketch in this edge. And I'm going to take my eraser because right before a sphere turns around from the darkest area, right before we hit the edge, there's something called a reflected edge. And this, it's right at the edge here. And this reflected edge is a 2. So these numbers are all connected to the values that are here. And what I want to see from you is a good gradation between between your values. So I want to see if this is going to look like a 4 to me, that's because this is a 3. And there's a distinct difference. And this is a 2. Reflected edge is 2. And the reason for that is that there's usually more than one light source in any area. So here, let me get this beginning drawing. I'm going to take a picture of this so you can really see all these things. And I want you to practice laying them down. So that's how we draw around an object with the shades. For any of you who took the lily lesson, you'll notice that all the petals followed this without this part, the reflected edge, because that's a more complex way of thinking about it. But you know, we went from light to medium to dark. And honestly, in drawing, all we have to show 3 dimensions on this flat surface is to make sure that there's a distinct difference in our values. 1, 3, 4, 2, right? 1, 3, 4, 2. I got to really see that difference. So I need to make sure when I'm drawing that I've not only got this dark area, but also this the correct value, and so is that. So go ahead and not bad, Paul. You still don't have, Paul, you still don't have the dark part down here.
Darker.
This is the darkest part of the cast shadow is right here. Because here the object is completely blocking the light. out here, the light kind of shines around a little bit so you can see more of it, but down here, that's like the darkest part. Paul, not bad. I want you to do it again.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Do it again. It's great. No, this is good. You've got it, but I just want you to practice it. And I want you to practice making that circle a proper, like a kind of a, you know, a perfectly round 3.14 circumference circle. We know not all circles are like that, but good, Sandra. Sandra, also get your darkest area here. Get your darkest area. Good job, you guys. Good job. Excellent. So Seham, I can't really see the difference between here and here. Can you see that? And I've also lost, we've also lost this reflective edge. I don't have this light here. See, this is why this is why an eraser is important. You're gonna have that stuff
I
in.
see that now.
And so this is too dark. This part here is too dark.
Mm-hmm.
There's a transition between light and medium, and you just have it
Okay.
dark. So I want you to try drawing this again and really just focus on getting that. And
Oh, so now I send it the wrong place.
it's easy, isn't it,
This is annoying.
to do that? But I like your cast shadow. I do like your cast shadow, Sam. That's good. That works.
Okay.
So try it again.
Okay.
Good job, everybody. It's down here, Sandra. Look down here. See this? Look at how this is darker than the rest of the cast shadow. There's an actual edge. You'll see it. In this particular case, it's a little bit hard to see because the printout isn't fantastic.
Okay.
But it really is here. Can you see it? It's like darker here. And I want you to intellectually understand that that's there. That
Yes.
this here is like the darkest part. It's this whole shadow isn't that dark. It's pretty dark, but it's not that dark. This part is the darkest because this is really where the object is blocking the light.
I've done
Good
it.
job, you guys.
I've fixed it.
Yes, good. All right. So for those of you who are still working on this a little bit, I'm going to send you over just a picture of how to do a cylinder. So a cylinder has a slightly different, we're not going to focus on that right now. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. Yeah. So here's a cylinder. Claudia, we're getting there. This is too dark. You're 3. To lighten it a bit, huh? Maybe take your finger, maybe take a shim or a towel. There should be a better transition. This is too dark. So if you look at this guy for a second, and I'm not going to work on this now, I've just put this here to show you. So you can see the arrow is showing that this is the cast shadow right here, right? This is where the light is. And you'll just see that in this particular case, the outside of the cylinder is lighter on the light side, but the inside of the cylinder is lighter on the opposite side. That will come into play when we start doing our still life. There you go, Sandra, you got it. So Sandra, it's not all the way up here, just here, because remember, this is rising off the ground. This part is rising off the ground.
Okay.
This part is rising off the ground. This is the only part that's on the floor, right here. Yep.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, now you did it too. You're in every class now. All right.
I've deleted
Yes.
for me, but
So I'm going to give you just a couple more minutes to work on this, and then we're going to move to our drawing assignment for today. We may or we may not finish this. You guys have this, so I can move this over here. I'm going to move this up here. So if you don't have a ruler, we're going to do something called the grid system. The reason I'm having you grid, and if you don't want to grid, you can try without gridding, but then you're going to have to work with proportions. So let me know if you want me to walk you through that. But for most people who are beginning drawers, it helps to have a grid. If you don't have a grid, I want you to take a piece of paper like this, and I want you to fold it 4 times in half. This is scrap paper. So fold it once, fold it twice. See how I'm folding it in half? Fold it 3 times, fold it 4 times. So you've got this little rectangle. And then when you open it up, you'll see you have a drawing that's been divided into an equal grid. Now, to make this more visible, you can take your pencil and you don't need a ruler for this. Any straight edge will do. You can draw the line. You can redraw over the folds. If you're struggling to see the folds, you can actually refold them over like this. So you're going to create a piece of paper which has these grid lines on it. I always kind of struggle to see the top folds here. I often have to fold these down. You could just use the side of a book or any straight edge to redraw the lines. Just make sure you're following the folds and not missing those. You're creating a grid. This grid is going to surprise you. It's going to be you're going to love it because it's really going to help. And you're going to be surprised all the time. Hold on, I'm looking for a piece of tape so I can tape it up.
Yeah, I'm using drawing paper. Should I use just regular paper? Is it?
I'd use just printer paper. And you can use drawing paper if you want to. Some people like to do this by we've got some students in the class who I don't think are here today, who like to work on actually doing this without a grid, and I will happily walk you through that. But I think for people here today, this is going to be more useful.
really, I was thinking of doing it without a grid.
I think you should do it without a grid, Sandra. So
Okay.
I'll walk you through this how to start, but give me a minute. Let me get everybody started with the grid, and then I'll talk to you about this. Okay. So for those of you who have a ruler, this is what you're going to do. You can use either inches and I'm going to do this on this source using a marker so you can see it. I don't want my paper to be all folded up, right? I'd rather have it be flat. So I'm actually measuring the halfway point of each edge of this paper. In this particular case, I'm not even going to tell you what the length is because it might be different for you because you might be using a different size. But basically, let's see, this is this is the halfway point. Once I find the halfway point, I'm going to find the halfway point between here and here. So I'm finding the halfway point of each edge, and then I'm finding the halfway point of each halfway. So this is like the first 2 folds, and I'm going along the edge. So once I do that down here, I'm going to do it up here. You can use either, there's the halfway point here, inches or centimeters. It does not matter as long as you can divide them in half. Most of the time I find centimeters easier. And of course, now I can line my ruler up knowing that they're at the same place because I've measured correctly. Oops, let me try this one. I've been using my marker with the paint, and I think I've wrecked a bunch of markers. Let's see what I can do here. All right, will you work better for me? I want you to be able to see it. Nope, that's separate. Give me just a second, you guys. I need to go grab another marker that doesn't have paint all over it. All right, so one of these should work. So the grid helps us, and Sandra, what you can try to do if you want to, here, hold on, and I'll get you this picture so you can see it. In fact, you guys, you already have the picture, is you're gonna establish, Sandra, one of these things in front first, the orange. Establish where you wanna put the orange, and then the orange becomes the measuring point for putting everything else down.
Rather than the cup, because it's in
Nope.
front.
Yeah, the orange is in front. And it's kind of separate from these guys. So that's what I would do. Use this, and then you'll see it's basically like one orange up to about here.
Right.
Right? And notice the apple is slightly higher than the orange, you know what I mean? So do the
Right.
orange and the apple. You can kind of define, I do the orange and the apple first and then add the cup in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let me know as we go through. So, awesome. All right. And then this is, I'm going to do the same thing on the side. In this case, I'm going to use centimeters. My centimeters are easy. It's like 28 centimeters across. So this is 14 is halfway, and then 7 is halfway. And then down here, I can bring this down like that. So I'm finding the halfway point of each edge. Let's see, 7, 14, 21. So I know that each of these is 7 centimeters on either side, and I can draw this line across. I'm showing you how to do this because you're going to work off this model. If you don't have a ruler, that's fine. You just watch and create this using your pencil and your folded technique. And then once you have that, you're going to start by drawing. I'm going to show you the first lines that you're going to draw. You're going to start by drawing the outlines of the objects. And notice here that I've got so you're going to start by drawing these red lines. Notice that these are really here, and actually you really want to do that, okay? So these are the first lines that you're going to draw. I'll take a picture so you can really see them. And I'm going to use my guide here to show me where to put my edges. So I can see this, I can see here, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start this here, almost like a dot to dot. So I'm almost putting little dots down. This is about halfway, a little bit more than halfway. So you see, I'm actually trying to locate. This is a little bit more than halfway. So when I sketch my outer shape in, I'm not thinking at all about the inner shapes right now. But when I sketch my outer shape in, right, I actually have guidelines that tell me where things are. Interesting. So this starts, I think this starts a little bit further here. So notice I'm erasing all the time erasing. I'm adjusting as I lay things out. This, because I can see that these guys kind of come together, this cup sort of comes together like that. See how I'm using the grid? Notice that the edge of this cup is not, the bottom edge of this cup is not flat, it's rounded. We can talk about that too. And this, because this apple kind of intersects into the cup, this becomes like one super object. This is exactly halfway. So see how, so you're gonna start with this. I'm doing this fast. I don't expect you guys to do this quite so fast. I'm doing this fast so you have time to really work on this, right? So notice I'm not even drawing the inside lines of the apple. And I can see this goes to here. I can see this is here. So I can see there's like a outer. Notice I'm also not trying to draw all my lines at the same time. I'm doing them kind of square by square. So that's the beginning. And if you want to, actually, yeah, not even this part. So I'm going to erase that. That's the beginning. This is step one. So I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm going to send it over, and I want you guys to do your best to try and get these outer shapes. Notice we're not doing, huh?
Can you show me how to fold the paper?
What was that?
Sorry, can you show me how to fold the paper again?
How to fold the paper again? Fold it 4 times, like this. 1, 2, just 4 times exactly in half. 3, and 4. And then you open it up, right? And you have the paper divided into equal squares because you folded it in half. And then you're going to take a straight edge, or for example, you could just take this piece of paper, right? Line it up along the fold.
And then do the lines.
And then do the lines so you can see them,
Okay.
right? But that was the first one I did, and then I realized it was impossible to see the top, so I photographed it with my failed attempt at a still life the first time. I'm going to send a picture of this. Yeah, and Sandra, you can start by defining the orange and then using the
Right.
orange to measure all that stuff. How's that going?
It's going well.
Yay! Oh my
I
God, how
think-
far you have come.
You haven't
You
seen
really
it yet.
have, your drawing has really gotten, here, I'm gonna pull this down for just a second so I can photograph it, and then I'll put it back up again. So these are your first, this is your first set of lines, and then let me take a close-up of this still life so you have it. This might be helpful for you too, Sandra, just to see the red line, the red line showing you the relationship of everything to each other. All right, let's put this back up so you can see it. So we start, there's none of this inside business, right? We're not starting with the details. Your desire is probably to get in here and start drawing like, I don't know, these lines or something like that. Just avoid that. We have to start with the outside shapes before we move in. It's very practical way of thinking about it. If you think about building a table, you guys have heard me say this a million times. If you think about building a table, right? You dealt with beautiful ornate legs. You don't start out carving an ornate leg. You start out by measuring 4 pieces of wood, bang, 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 and chopping them out and making sure that they're the same size. Because if you want a table, your legs have to be the same size. And then you chop a block of wood for the top of the table before you start carving the detailed leg, right? We don't start out by carving the detailed leg. It's the same with the drawing. You have to get these pieces into place. I will be right back. I'm gonna give you guys just a minute to get started on that. Lady.
I'm sorry, Sandra, are you with Reuters too?
Yes,
Oh,
in Washington.
oh, in DC.
Yes.
All right. How's it going, everybody?
It's going well.
Nice. So, after a hard session like yesterday, I think coming back and focusing on basics really makes you, it kind of cements everything in, doesn't it? Because the clouds are doing the same
It's very
thing that
different.
the sphere is doing, but they're all feeding each other. The clouds are doing the same thing the sphere is doing. The clouds are going from light to dark, right? But just using a different tool. I'm really happy with how everybody did in painting this week. I think people did stupendously. Really, really great. It's a total shift. And I think the brain exercise was strong, let's put it that way.
So, Leah,
Yes.
on the apple on the right, I do not see a reflective edge at the bottom.
It's hard to see it in this, it's hard to see it. In fact, it's more like a lost edge.
Okay,
Right?
yes, that's
it's
what
more
it looks
like
like
that.
more.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to, you mean the coarse shadow? Yeah, I don't really see it either, so don't worry about it if you don't see it. But
Okay.
it's definitely happening. I wonder if we can see it in
Maybe the
orange.
cup on the
The
right
cup
hand
a
side of
little
the cup,
bit.
there is
Yep,
one.
yep, absolutely. Good ups. Jeez, Sandra, your eye has gotten keen. Eagle eye. When you guys are done with the outlines, and Sandra, you can just go ahead and start shading, right? Go ahead
Okay.
and start getting your,
Good, because I've started
and getting
already.
right, I figured you had. So if you're ready, go ahead and start shading. For those of you who are working on this, I want you to work on the outline. Also recognize we may not finish it entirely, which is okay. You can continue to work on this after class. So I want you not to pressure yourself to go fast or slow, but to focus on the steps. And send me a picture of your beginning drawing. If you feel like your beginning drawing looks a little weird, that's actually probably, if it feels weird to you, if your brain is resisting what is in front of it, what it is, that's actually good. That actually means you're probably doing better than you think. Your left brain, let's see. Looking here.
Do I have to send a picture?
You don't have to, but if you're don't feel embarrassed to, I guess is what I would say. You do not, but don't feel embarrassed to. Paul, that's pretty good. Yeah, this looks good over here. Good here. This part, Paul, comes up higher, a little bit higher than you have it. So I think you have your handle down too low. Your handle is really at the halfway point, and you have your handle coming down to here. You have your handle down here, so this is what's happening. See that? So you need to pull that back up. Also notice that the handle comes in a little bit. There's a tiny triangle right here.
I sent a picture.
Let's see. Let's see how our newbie is doing. Okay, so a couple of things I want you to notice, Seham. One is that this orange and the cup are touching.
They have to be touching.
They're
For some reason,
touching.
My brain isn't convinced that I can Yes.
Right, your brain is trying to, so you are focusing, I'm gonna have you redraw your grid and start again because you don't have an eraser.
But we're not
And
touching.
they are touching. They're,
No.
well, they are almost right next to
Almost
each
touching.
other.
But I've drawn them
Almost
like very
touching.
near.
They are virtually touching. You have a big space in between them. Number two, you have your curve puffing out like a mushroom. So you've got your curve up, starting up too high, and you've puffed your curve out like this. This is what you did, right? With your cup. So the reason that you're doing that, can you see the difference between what's actually happening and what you did? So the reason that you're doing that is that you're exaggerating the size of everything. And this, as everyone in this class will tell you, is what everybody does. So when you're beginning, don't feel bad about doing this. This is a very gradual curve. It's almost a straight line. It doesn't go like this. It goes almost like a straight line to here. So go ahead and start again. And then I'm going to suggest something to you, Seham. I'm going to suggest that you do this drawing. And in fact, all of you can do this. Do this drawing upside down. Not you personally. You're going to try drawing these
Oh, I
shapes
just got
again.
that.
You're going to try, right. Don't go upside down. You're going to try drawing upside down. So make yourself a new grid. Get yourself an eraser. As you can see, everybody will tell you, everyone needs one. Make yourself a new grid, and I want you to start over.
Okay.
But you can see also the problem with starting over. You'll never get anywhere because you keep starting over, thinking you're going to
I'm
get
really
it
wishing I
perfect.
had an eraser right now. I don't know why I didn't think of it.
Because you think that drawing is something that you can do right in the first go. That's why. That you have an idea that this is something that can be done in the first. It's not a because you don't, because the process is like a mystery,
Yeah.
right? That's why you did it. So you just don't know the tools that you need. So anyway, that's a tool that you need. And it's good to know that. And you're beginners, so of course you wouldn't know that. Paul, you're gonna, I would like you to start, I would like you to turn your drawing upside down too, and I'm gonna show you the next set of lines, unless you're already there. And Claudia, you're already there. You guys are gonna be doing these green lines next. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. Because I'm gonna also have you identify the kind of light, medium, and darks that are happening. See that? And then there's a light, there's a dark here. This is actually quite light. Actually, you can't even really see the cup rim on this side. You can only really see this kind of medium to dark shape. So for those of you who are ready to move on to step 2, and say, show me when you're ready. And then I want to see your grid when you're ready. And then I want you to try the red lines again. Ignore the green lines.
Okay.
Just work on the red lines, but work on them upside down.
Okay.
If you want to, you can turn the picture over in your WhatsApp too. You can take it in. In fact, I can do that. Let me.
I can take my time, right? Like I know I'm going really slow, but
Yes, you can totally
That's
take
fine.
your time. If
better
all
than
you
going
get,
fast.
if you all you get, Seham, is just these outer shapes, I'm very happy. If that's all you get, I'm super happy.
all right, great.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah. And your mind is like doing little backflips in confusion right now. So
It is.
that's like, you're probably going to find it easier to draw upside down, believe it or not. And so try it and we'll do, okay, sorry, I'm going to move this down so I can take a picture of it. Sorry, guys, I'll put it right back up. Okay. And all I get is, so there it is upside down, and then here is the drawing upside down. So, but yeah, Seham, just know that you made every mistake that every single person on this call has made the first time they drew with me.
That's comforting.
Does that make you feel better?
It does, yeah. Because I can see Sandra's work and I'm completely.
It's wonderful.
We haven't seen mine yet.
Sandra is amazing.
No, you
Claudia
haven't
is
seen it.
amazing, but you're getting there. So send it over if you're having trouble, guys, if you want any work on this. But just know that like exaggerating curves, exaggerating the size of things, making distances where there are not, right? Creating distances that aren't there. You're like exaggerating the separation because your brain wants you to think this is an orange. It's not the same thing as what's happening here. What your brain has to do, because that's your left brain, which is your verbal conceptual brain, is trying to analyze and tell you what an orange is, what a cup is, what an apple is. But for the cases of drawing, you want to stop thinking about what it is and just think about the shapes. That's all we're interested in. Shapes, lights, and darks. We are not really interested in what a thing is. And sometimes it gets in the way of us figuring out what a thing is. Claudia, if you want to, and Sandra, if you want to add in pastels at some point, you should feel free to do that.
I almost was going to do today's in pastels, but
You can
then
totally
you
do
said
that,
just pen and
Sandra.
paper, so I'm just.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. So if you want to
Okay.
or just go over it with pastel, or I don't know,
Right.
if like it's
Right.
more fun for you to
No.
work in color, you can totally work in color.
I guess a good exercise to work in pencil.
Yep.
I find pastels easier to get the value, you know.
Yes. Yeah, because you're very used to judging value with color, which
Yes.
is a hard thing for some people. So it's your practice at that's really helping you. I can totally see that, like how much your practice is helping you in this case. And all your past experience. For some people, have you noticed for some people judging value, associating the right value to a color is really hard.
I guess I did it before even thinking of values.
Right. You were used to doing it with your pastels. So you've
Yes.
been working in color. So you're used. So A, you've had practice at it. B, it's easy for you, or it's easier for you. I've really noticed this way that some people, the black and white is easier to think in, and for other people, color is easier to see it. It's so you have a kind of leaning towards it, but also more importantly, you've practiced it a lot. So you really know those colors and those, but yeah, you really know that. But for some people, it's hard. It's really hard.
This is an interesting exercise, huh?
Isn't it? It sort of talks to you. Tell me, what do you think is interesting about it?
Well, of getting the 3D with value simply with pencil, it makes you look like when I do pastels, I do it. It makes you look much harder than you normally would. Like when I do pastels, I take my time and I see a lot of things just by looking very closely, and I see what makes it 3D. And of course, it's always the values that make it 3D.
Right.
But we're not used to looking at that.
Right. Right.
We just
We're
look
not
at the
used to
shape and the
thinking about
colors.
that.
And
Right. So that's why I like these beginning lessons, because you guys have for some of you, it's new, but for some of you, you're ready to learn this lesson now that you've had some experience, right? Like it all becomes more relevant as you're struggling to work with different things. The rules become more helpful. I usually try to take a beginning class. I used to, for a very long time, take a beginning class well into the first 15 years of my drawing painting life.
wow.
Because I always learned something different in the beginning class. I always learned a deeper way of understanding.
Yes, it's nice because now I think we've come along enough so that we can put it all together, you know?
Exactly. And you'll notice everybody's going to do it at a different pace. What I really like is art is the great equalizer, right? There are things that everybody is good at something in art and bad at something in art. Like there's so many skills that you have to like employ that like everybody has a struggle point and everybody has a point that's kind of like, oh, that makes sense. So as people begin to fill in the dots, as you have experience working with objects and subjects, you realize Oh, that's why this was important, right? And then you can apply it. Whereas at the beginning, I guess it's like learning a language. I don't know. I've never successfully learned another language, but it seems to me you start with like a few key building blocks and then you add out.
Yes, you need the building
right?
blocks.
You can only start with the sort of basic simple things so that you can learn to construct, right? More complex ideas. You can't start with the complex ideas. Yeah, and you'll continue. My hope is we continue. Wait till you get back to figure drawing in June
Oh
or
no,
July.
I don't think I'm
right?
going back to figure drawing.
You may not, you don't have to. But if you decide to go back to figure drawing, you'll be very surprised at where you are now as where you were a year ago. You will be way more.
Maybe
will
I
know
can do
more.
animal figure drawing.
So I sent another picture.
Say how much better. Wait.
Really? Because to
What?
me,
No,
it
no,
looks
no,
like-
no, no. Okay, so what's going on here? So let's see what's happening here. I want you to. I'm gonna go through this step by step with you, and I want you to draw the lines with me. Okay. So make yourself another grid. I'm gonna make myself a grid too. Make yourself another grid. Learn. Now you get to learn why you need an eraser. You'll
Sorry.
never,
I'm so
you'll
sorry.
laugh, don't be apologize. You'll just laugh at yourself later and go, what was I thinking?
I know, I'm already laughing at myself.
Right, I'm laughing too. And I think everybody at this point, oh yeah, bring a pencil with when I say a pencil, people will know there's an eraser automatically. I should be more clear in my direction. So you're going to do this step by step with me. And I want you to not do any line until I draw the line first. Because what's happening is you're trying to rush through this and you're missing the shapes. You're not really seeing what's happening on the paper. So, put this here.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm going to do this in marker so you can really see it. But I want you to do this in pencil. Okay, so I'm going to start here. And then I can see that this is like less than halfway here. And you know what? I'm going to go down. Yeah, now I'm going to go over here. 1, 2, this is about half the same distance. So I'm going to start with my marks here. Go ahead and give yourself marks. And then this is almost a straight line. I know it looks like a curve, but really each one is almost like a diagonal line there. So those are my first lines. When you've got them, show me.
I'll just show you on.
Yes, take a picture.
Okay, I'll
It's hard for me to see. It's actually just impossible to see on the WhatsApp screen. That's the one thing that, or sorry, on the Zoom screen. Okay.
Last drawing looks like Cinderella's carriage. When it
Yeah, it does a little bit. Bring it out, bring this out a little bit. So bring these dots out a little bit farther. They're in a little bit too close. You need to bring, your dot is here. See? Your dots are there. Your dots need to be out here. So don't draw it over. You're going to keep all your lines. You're going to, in this case, you're going to see every single way. Your instinct was a little bit off, so we can talk about it.
Okay.
All right, now redraw the lines where they should be. So you should have something that looks like this.
Yeah, that's what I almost
Okay.
thought of.
So send that over. That's better. All right, so now my next line is going to come, let's see, I'm looking here, it's 1, 2. It's literally 1/3 of the way down the paper. So you see how I'm measuring? So I'm going to put that here. I'm going to put a dot there. because that's here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to put a dot, interestingly, almost the same size, the same distance from here to here is the distance from here to here. So I'm going to measure from here, come over here. Right. Let's see, somebody do that.
That's why I
There's
need
my
a
next
ruler.
dot. And then this one is about the same as well. So I could just take this and go up and give myself another dot. Okay. Got it?
Yep.
Okay. So now, this is tricky. This curved line is a tricky one. I'm going to break it up into two straight lines. I'm going to go kind of straight down like this and then over like that. So almost
Why do I
like
feel like my paper is bigger than yours?
it may be a little bigger. It may be a little bit bigger, but this should still be basically.
Maybe she
simply
has
similar.
A4, you know.
She might have A4. You might have A4.
I
But
do
is that
have
a,
Yeah.
is that a significant difference?
Yeah, it can really elongate things because the paper, the A4, is a little longer and thinner than the American one. So
Right.
I've had that happen to me with the cat once. It was just super elongated.
Super long and
Yeah.
thin. All right. So you can, if it feels too long to you, Seham, you can bring it in a little bit, down a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it definitely does.
So if it does,
So-
then go ahead and bring this down a little bit. So put it where you think it needs to be.
Okay.
And draw your little angle. So redraw your angle line. And the same here. So if this feels like it's too thin, you can make it a little bit wider.
Okay.
What you can do, I can check this. You can do is you can use this. You can use this measurement. Oh yeah, you can use this measurement, the width of the cup, and you can see that it's almost the width of the orange. So you can go from here to here. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And then put your dot a little bit to the right.
Okay.
So you can use this measurement to check that one. Then you know.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll do the same. Did I get that right? Yep. Okay. You can do the same thing here. You can check this measurement and see if it works here. This measurement is basically the same as this one. This measurement,
It's smaller.
a tiny bit, but not too much.
Yeah.
You're exact, yeah, a touch, but not too much.
Okay.
So maybe down a little bit like that.
Mm.
Same over here.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to, let's see, this is a tricky sketch. I'm going to break this into 3 straight lines that intersect. So watch this. It goes like that. And then I go like this. And then I come down like this. So instead of doing curved lines, I can go back in and smooth my curves out. Can you see that? I can get rid of those lines. But one of the things that you're doing is you're making your curves too big. Way too big. You're doing, I'll do it.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, see, like that. You're doing that. So watch yourself as you're doing it. Stop yourself and redraw this like that.
Kind of hard because those edges kind of really, you have
They
to
disappear.
those edges. No,
Yeah.
the border.
The border? What do you mean the border?
Because when I'm drawing these lines here, I'm not taking into account the border.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So take into account the border. Take into account the border. All right. From here, Seham, it's mostly a slightly curved line, but mostly a straight line across like that. It's not like this, right? It's not puffed out like that. It's a mostly straight line across. And then this here. Yep, there we go. So what you are learning is how much your eyes don't work as a right brainer, right? How much your brain is not helping you to see things as they actually are. So this kind of comes out like that, and then this is a straight line in. So you see, I've broken up this curve. Right? You can see how much you're exaggerating the size of things. So know that that's something that one does. And think to yourself, boy, that curved line is not as curved as I think it is.
I'm trying it in different sizes right now.
You're trying, what do you mean in different sizes? The sketch?
Yeah.
Cool, interesting. All right. So now let's check something else. If I go from, this probably isn't going to help you so much. So now I can see that if I drew a straight line down like this, right, that my cup would kind of curve in like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I know if I draw a straight line from here, all the way down here, that's where I put my outer dot for my cup. I know that the cup lines up, the outer side of the cup, the top part, lines up with this sort of inner edge of the orange, the inner part of the orange. Then I can draw that. And it's a slightly diagonal line, so kind of straight. See that?
Yep.
Interesting, right? All right. I can check this side and see what I can see. This cup is kind of not intentionally bisecting the middle of this grid. So I can see that if I go from here to here, this side is basically equal to this side. So see how I'm taking my finger here, and then I'm coming over here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my dot here. And then I'm going to put my dot very low to the ground here. You had yours up here before. Put it down here. Put it lower than you think it should go. This curve is not very high.
Okay.
Can you start to feel it now that we're doing it together?
I'm starting to see it.
You can start to see it, right?
Yeah.
It's not really the doing it that's the problem, right? The drawing it, it's the seeing it that's the problem. So seeing it correctly is the issue. Great job, you got it. By Jove, I think she's got it. All right, so this is a straight line that comes from here to here. I mean, it's curved, but it's not really that curved.
Yeah.
And then this comes down like this. Awesome. You're doing great.
Oh my God, it actually looks like a cup.
Does everybody remember that first moment in art class where that happened to you, where you were like, oh my God, it looks like the thing? All right, here, my cup, and this may be a little bit tricky. So yours might be a little bit, because of the A4, yours might be a little bit. I need to get some A4 paper so I can do it.
It's not on the line, but I think I got the measurement right.
Awesome. It's not on the line. Okay, right. So you can check actually this to like this, right? And this are about the same size. So from the edge to here, and then it comes, so I can go like this, curved line like that, right? Like that. So the cup kind of comes up a little bit over like that. And then let's see, this is about a little bit, I wonder if there's Let me see something. So now I'm giving you all proportional measurements. I'm actually skipping you ahead because we have to get your cup in the right proportions. This size is the same as this. So the length from here to here, about half the width of the cup here
Mhm.
is the same as the distance from here to here. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here, and I'll mark that. So I know this is the outside shape. That's this shape here. All right, and then there's a tiny little triangle here. See that little shape here?
Mhm.
Not a big one, but a little one. And then once again, let's see. So let's see if we can measure something that's about this size. Let's compare this to this. Let's see, 1, 2. Oh yeah, so it's a little bit less than the width of this. The apple here, the base of this cup here is a little bit hot. It goes here. So if I want to measure that, I'm going to bring in interesting. Yeah, and look, even mine is kind of off. That's interesting. Oh no, wait, I want to do that. Okay. So I can come here and then put my dot here for my apple. So do you see what I did there? I went from here, and I came over here, right? And then let's see, is this distance the same as this distance? Interestingly, a little bit less. So this distance is here. If I check this distance and go to here, so I make this a little bit longer here. And now, once again, I'm going to divide this curved line into straight lines. Whoops, here we go. Here, I'll do this with silver so it's a little bit easier to see. Gold, so it's easier to see. Right? So in every case, so now I can draw that, whoops, comes out like this, and then down at an angle. So there's your first line. And then over. Nope, over like this. Stops right before. Yeah, apples, interestingly, are not that round. They're kind of more squarish. And they're round, but they're kind of more squarish. So how is it, Seyhan? Better?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Breakthrough.
Thank you.
Okay, Leah, I'm going to send you mine. It
Yes,
doesn't
please.
look like a nice drawing somehow. I mean, I see people who do drawings, pencil, and it looks beautiful.
I
Mine
think
doesn't
you
look
just
so
don't like,
beautiful.
my guess is pencil just isn't your medium. Same
And
with
I
me.
hate that I smeared it everywhere. 'cause
Right,
I'm
right,
using
right.
a-
So you might try, Sandra, doing this again in pastel with color. Just for the
almost
fun of
doing-
it, pick your colors.
Mm,
Claudia, I'd encourage you to do the same thing. Let's see.
Hold on. Still, it's better than my first attempt.
Yes. But I get that, Sandra, I totally get that because,
There you go.
yep, let's see. Because I never am really happy with my pencil drawings either. Oh yeah, I see your point. Okay, so there's a couple of things we could do to improve that. Number one, you have this part. So here, actually, let me put this the right side up.
It's a bit too straight.
It's too straight.
Okay.
Number two, this curve, although there's a lot of really great things about it, so I want to credit you, a lot of great things about it. Yeah, so work this line. So so work on this line. Actually, and this is just a little too bowed out.
Yes, I could see
So
that.
you need to bring it up straight a little bit. So what you did is this, let me show you. So you did this. Oh, how can I show you where you can see it? Here, hold on.
I see exactly what it.
Yeah,
I
do you
could
see what it
tell.
is? So,
Yeah.
so just carve it in a little bit.
With a
Go
shadow, yeah.
straight, yep. Just go straight and like that. So it's really more an angle like that. Nice
Right.
work. Really great work.
Sandra, this is so amazing.
It's really good. Yeah, having said that, I should say.
That's no, honestly, I'm so like, wow.
Yeah, it's great. She did good. You did really good in terms of the values. You could get a little bit darker up here too, Sandra, if you want to.
Okay. Yes.
On this side, because this reads it, this actually, that darkness comes up to, look at those shapes and how they come in. Because this apple has striations on it, right?
Right.
Hey, bravo. You got it. You got it. Say, nice work. Much.
Oh, yay.
Much better, right? So
Yeah.
now, why don't you try bringing in some of those, these green lines. Do you want to try the green lines?
I can't really see the green lines.
I sent them across the thread, so you
Okay.
should be able to see them, but I'll take another picture.
Oh, I got them. Okay.
Yep. So try working upside down, and I want you line by line, square by square, to try and add in the green lines. Just see how it goes. And then we will talk about what's happening to your brain. So basically,
I'd love to know, because my entire family can draw except for me. So
we
I
are
want to know.
reusing, we are training a side of your brain like an exercise, like a muscle in exercise that has not been used. So we will talk about what that is. Yeah, absolutely. These guys have heard me say it a million times, so. Right, guys?
Yes.
But it never hurts. It never
Get
hurts.
all-
You guys, I am going to quickly boil a little bit more water for tea. You go ahead and work. I am happy to put this down. And Sandra, I really great work on that drawing. Like awesome work. My suggestion would be, because we have a little time left, for you to try it in pastel.
Oh,
So,
no.
Are you
It's-
done?
Pastel is very involved, and
Okay, got it. Maybe charcoal. Maybe charcoal.
I know. So in a way, I'm using like 4B, and I'm smearing so much that I'm kind of grateful I'm not using charcoal. I love charcoal, but it's such a mess.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of messy. All right.
And
all right.
already I'm smearing everywhere.
All right. Well, hang on just a second. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Right.
Leah,
Yes.
so like when you do shadows,
Yes.
is there a convention about like pencil strokes, like they're supposed to be
There's
in
not
the
a
direction of a
convention.
shadow? Or...
Yes, in general. I mean, there's not a convention in the sense that there are different ways to achieve the same end. But yes, your strokes should try and kind of mimic the shape of the object. There's different ways to do this, right? Like there's totally different ways to make, there's a lot of different ways to make that, but yes, I do agree that that is a great way to put it. Your stroke should kind of, just like your marks in the brush, your strokes
Right.
should sort of mimic, or your marks making in pastel, your strokes should mimic the shape and the sort of direction of what you're trying to do, because the viewer will see the marks and they will wonder why they're there, right? The person who's looking will go, oh, that's there. What am I supposed to be thinking?
Except that if it's done well, the viewer is not even aware of it.
Well, the
Just
point
sees what
is,
you want
so the
them to see.
point, yes, so actually the convention is the mark should be doing something. It should be directing you. It should be showing you. If the mark is there, it's there to identify a process. So, hi, Emma. Good to see you. I am gonna so Seham, while you're working, I'm actually printing out the very beginning lesson I do for drawing so we can talk about right brain, left brain. So you work for a
I
little
sent
while.
another picture by
All right, give me just a second and I'll take a look at it. I'm actually printing something so we can do a little extra exercise.
I can't believe it's been an hour and a half.
Isn't that amazing? And don't you feel a little bit tired?
I feel great actually.
You feel good? Good. So tell me about that. Tell me how you feel, because you've been struggling with this. So it's good to me that you're feeling great, but talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I didn't really have any expectations because I don't know how to draw, so I wasn't really hard on myself because I wasn't getting it right. But then
Right.
I never thought that I would be able. I know it's nothing, but it's something
huge.
to do. It makes it looks like something, and I
And that feels
not,
great.
like it feels really great, and I honestly cannot believe that I've been focused on this for an hour and a half because, and I haven't looked at my phone. I haven't really I don't care what's
Yes.
going on around me, and I cannot believe that this took an hour and a half and I didn't notice.
Yeah,
My
that's the
God, you're
right
like our
brain.
post. That is it. You just made your first entry into right brain. Congratulations. Congratulations. It's fantastic.
amazing.
Isn't that amazing? All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to talk to you about what that is. But guys, remember this, because we were all there too, right? Every single person on this call was there. Actually, when that first moment where you're like, oh my God, it looks like something. How did I manage it?
I'd just like to say hello to Seham because I've joined because I have badgered Seham to join this class for months, and I'm very
wanted
glad
to
she's
for
here.
months.
And when I saw she
Job.
was in the chat, I thought, well, I better come on as well to show
I
them.
love
Oh,
it.
Emma, I'm so happy you just kept on badgering me because oh my gosh, I'm
It's
so
so
happy I
great.
finally-
And this is going to change your life, Seham. It really will. So hold on a second. I'm going to, wait.
Okay.
I need to turn the lights off in my studio so you guys can see better. And then we're going to try something even more interesting.
Emma, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. This is my second art class, and this one's going better than the one yesterday, which was a bit of a
Oh, the one yesterday was
disaster,
tough.
Well, what did you guys do yesterday? I heard it was
Yeah,
tough.
Emma, great work. Great work. So let's talk about right brain. Excellent recruiting. Good job. Seham's now the coordinator for Egypt.
I think you're gonna regret that because we're a lot of people. I don't
I'm
know
not
if
going to
we're
regret
about
that.
100 million. So
That's awesome. What we found is that there's only a small percentage that actually continually come to class. You're meeting the core right here. So I don't mind, bring them all in and maybe you'll become one of them, which is really awesome. Ah! Hold on. All right.
I just have to go and get my phone so I can send you a picture. Hang on.
All right. You guys recognize this? Here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Seham, this is the best way for me to teach you what just happened to you. why you were able to do this assignment. Part of it is what you identified, which is that you're all of us, it's the problem was not the drawing, it was the seeing. Okay, so I'm going to ultimately have you draw a box like this and try to repeat up here what's happening down here. But before I do that, I want to review some terms with you. One is, what is this?
That's a circle.
It's a circle, right? What is that?
It's also a circle.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
So a lot of people, so see, you're totally gonna, you're completely in right brain. Most people answer this question by saying, trying to specify what they think the shape looks like. Jelly bean, kidney bean, blah, blah, blah. In reality, this is also a circle. So is this. So is this. So is this. A circle is anything, it's not just one shape, but it's a group of shapes. It is a family of shapes. And there are 5 families of shape. I'll take a picture of this so you have this, right? And you are the first person who has ever answered that question correctly, honestly.
Oh, cool.
Honestly, I've taught this many times, and you were the first person to do that. So the circle family is anything roundish with no sharp edges. So if you can see what type of circle, anything roundish, it is, right? It's going to be easier to draw. The circles that you were drawing, the circle that we did for our beginning exercise is different than the orange and the apple, right? They're circle-ish, but they aren't exactly circles. So it helps to be able to look at the circles and see. So there are circle families. So, and if you get this, then these 5 families of shape you use to draw everything. The dot family is just like the circle family, except dots are filled in. So dot can be anything roundish with no sharp edges, that's filled in. And then tell me, what's the shape of your doorway?
It's a rectangle. Square? Rectangle? I'm scared
Hold
now.
on. Yes, that's okay. What's the shape of your doorway? Is it a rectangle?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no rectangle families of shape. Boy, you're smart. You actually figure out when I'm setting you up.
Oh, okay.
Right. She's smart, Emma. I like her. She's almost maybe too smart for her own good. There's the dot family, there's a circle family, there's the dot family. There is 3 other families. There's straight lines, there's curved lines, and there's angle lines. Hold on, I'll give you some examples. Straight lines can be thick, they can be thin, they can be small, they can be large. Curved lines are just simply curved lines. They can be very narrow, like the ones we were working on today, or big, or even curly, like a snail shell. And angle lines are just 2 lines that are straight lines that are put together, narrowly or widely. So looking at this lexicon, how do you define the shape of the door? What shapes are they?
Well, they could be a straight line.
Yep, it could be 1 thick straight line, or 4 straight lines, or 2 angle lines put together, right? Excellent. So from this, we can construct everything. Now come back here and take a look at this and tell me, here, I'll get real close. Tell me, what are the families of shape that you see here, up here? Which ones do you see? Don't try to figure out what it is. Just
oh no, I'm not. I can't see any. Like I don't know.
You can't see anything. Great.
I can see straight lines and angled lines.
Excellent.
And curved lines.
Yep.
And I think I see a circle.
But do you actually see a circle, or what are you seeing? A curved line, right?
I see half a circle.
But you don't know if it's half a circle, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So watch how your left brain starts trying to tell you. So we're going to talk about your left brain and your right brain. Right now, I want you to give yourself a square, and I want you to recreate up here what is here in your square.
Just like
just copy? A square, just a yeah. So just copy. Okay. Emma, let's see. Oh, Emma, jeez. Very nice. You know what I really like, Emma, about this? I love this line. It's just the right curve. It's just the
Wow,
right kind of
Emma.
curve. Very nice. Very nice. Just keep going.
I thought if I did charcoal, I could catch up
Yeah.
faster.
You're drawing upside down.
Awesome.
Is this one
Awesome. What's that, Paul?
Is this upside down?
Nope, this is right side up.
Okay.
This is right side up. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to quickly, I boiled my water. I'm going to get a little bit more coffee. I'll be right there. 1 second. I'll be right back. Yeah, Emma, Seha wanted to do this class so much she paid for it. Where's our Claudia? Claudia, where are you? Where are you?
Actually, Leah, one of my friends who has previously sat in the room with me was asking today if she could pay for it.
She can. She totally can. I'll send you the information on how to do that. You just register through my site. Yes.
Yeah.
Claudia, I'm kind of hoping you're working in pastels today. Are you? Or are you working in charcoal?
Oh, I got so hung up on the charcoal and so like.
Oh, you're in charcoal. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Send it over.
Okay, I tried, but I think I'm done. Shall I send you the?
Let's see. Okay. And say how when you're done, let me, sorry there. Tell me.
Okay.
Oh, Claudia, nice. Nice, 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 nice. I love the apple.
Who's watching TV?
Oh yeah, that's the,
sorry.
That's the Thomason household. All right, good job, Seham. Pretty good job. That looks pretty much, I'm looking at it right here. You pretty much got it. How hard was this assignment on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being easy?
Very last one?
Yeah, this one right here. How hard was this?
I would say 6 maybe.
Right, and what was hard about it?
Just the dimensions of it.
Right, getting things in the right places, right?
Yeah.
So you've already learned from doing the still life that it's hard to get things in the right places, and it's easy to exaggerate the size of things, right? And make them too big. But totally doable exercise, right?
Yeah.
Doable. So what are you drawing?
Just drawing a bunch of lines. That's what I see.
Yeah, so what is it?
I don't know, but I think that when I'm not so focused, when I think it's like, because I thought it was easier than a still life because it was just a bunch of lines together, so it was easier and quicker for me to do.
Yes, so not knowing what it is makes it easier to focus on the shapes, right?
Yeah, but
That
then
is
if you tell me what it is and then I try and draw it, then I'll just get in my head and I won't be able to.
You'll get in your head, you'll get in your left brain. That's exactly right. That is exactly, you nailed it. So right brain thinking. So let's talk a little bit about right brain thinking. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm about to set you up for an answer that may be wrong. So don't feel bad if you get this answer wrong. I might as well tell you since you're obviously smart enough to figure it out.
No, I'm not.
So right brain, and then we'll talk about what that thing is. Okay, so we have the left brain and we have the right brain. What is your concept of the left and right brain? What's your understanding?
I know that one is more about, one like is more logical or something, handles facts. And
right.
The other
so
one is...
that is the belief, right? One is logical and fact-based. This is the belief. Notice I'm putting this at the top. And the other is what?
Like creativity.
Creativity, yeah.
Artist.
So it's important to understand that these differences are a false dichotomy. They don't make sense at all. But that is what everybody thinks. So everybody in the world, when I ask them this question, says that the left brain is logical and fact-based and the right brain is creative and intuitive, right? That's that. Let's look at less loaded terms. Less loaded terms, the left brain is what we call verbal conceptual. They're actually both logical, they're just different logical like thinking factors, right? And the right brain is visual spatial. So each has its own logic chain. Each has logic, right? But it's a different logic. It's a different logic. And this logic can get in the way of this logic. So what is verbal conceptual? Verbal conceptual is the concept that, here, and I'll switch up here so you can see me. Virtual, oh, actually, I think I can add a spotlight. Can you see me now? And the thing?
Yes.
Okay, so verbal conceptual is knowing that this is a hand, right? In whatever language you speak, or the many languages that you speak, you have a word assigned to a concept. And you know what a hand looks like. You have a picture in your mind of what a hand looks like, so that when somebody says the word hand to you, you know what they're talking about, right? That's verbal conceptual. It's attaching a word to a concept. It's how
that's
we learn.
How like we're taught when we're babies.
That's how we learn how to speak, right? And so it's hugely important. And it takes many years, right, to develop this language. And so it's like, and they've done studies actually with like sort of mutes, people, deaf mute people who never learn to speak, and that's part of their brain like gets activated. It's a very important thing to activate because that gets a whole other set of brain processes going. It's like the software that we put into our computer of our brain to get our brain starting to function. So it really, verbal conceptual is huge. It takes up almost all of our, we spend a lot of our time doing it, right? Assigning like concepts to, and then if you speak 2 or 3 languages, it's even more because you're now learning the different words and the different concepts. But the key is you don't have to have the thing in front of you to know what it is and to know what it looks like. You have an idea in your head. Okay, so here's my question. I'm about to add a concept to your verbal conceptual understanding of the hand. Smaller or bigger than my head?
Is your hand smaller or bigger?
Is my hand smaller or bigger than my head? Smaller, right?
In what context? Like, I don't.
Is my hand smaller or bigger than my head?
Well, that's, I'm sorry. Like you
What's
said,
hard
you're
about
setting me
that?
up.
What's hard about that question? Can you see my head? Is my hand covering my head?
Well, I mean, sort of.
Okay, so then my hand is smaller than my head, correct?
Necessarily.
Okay, what?
Honestly, like when I'm looking at
Where's
you
your
now,
brain going
so like if
right
I
now?
do this, like if I
Yes.
do this, do you think my hand is smaller than my head?
Yes.
I feel like they're the same size.
They are not. Put your
But
hand
like
on
the only
top of your
difference
head.
is like my hair is a bit, you know.
Well, but that your hair is part of your head, so there you go.
Okay. So,
all right.
please
So
just
your
put your
hand
hand
is obviously, everybody's hand is small. Basically, everybody's hand is smaller than their head. Don't overthink it. Just jump
Yeah,
in.
you've
right.
gone in my head.
Yes, I've gone in your head. Okay, so but now I'm really going to go in your head because what about now? Is my hand bigger or smaller than my head?
Well, it's bigger, but it's just because you changed like the.
Yes. All right. So here is the difference between right and left brain. What I did when we went through this, right, is you immediately, your left brain, because it's so fast, immediately added this concept, understanding of the hand and the head. So in your mind, you're like, the hand is smaller than the head, right? And when they're in the same plane, when they're in the same space, yes, that's true. But in right brain thinking, once I bring my hand here, right, it becomes bigger than my head. This is important for drawing. So this moves us from a verbal conceptual standpoint, like my verbal picture of the hand, my hand that's in my head, right? Not the one that's in front of me.
Yeah.
This is always, the hand's always smaller than the head. But if I want to draw it, it changes. It does not matter what this is and what this is. what's important is where is this in space in relation to this? So visual spatial is about shapes in relation to each other.
Oh, I get it.
Get it?
Yeah.
That's the difference. So, and you can see, and do you see, Seham, because you're so smart, you figured this out immediately. You were like, wait a minute, I know that, like, and your brain was starting to argue with you. Your left brain was starting to say, no, 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 the hand is smaller than the head. The hand is smaller than the head, right?
Yeah.
So depending on what you're trying to do, the logic of visual spatial is much less about what a thing is and more about where things are in relations in space. So the logical rule of drawing a hand is looking at it in relation to everything else around it. It's not a hand is smaller than a head. But can you see how your left brain starts to tell you, as you were noticing, your left brain is telling you, no, yeah, orange is this, cup is this, apple is this. And it even goes so far as to say, that's an orange, it's separate from a cup. That's an apple, it's separate from a cup. But in reality, if you're drawing and you're in visual spatial, it's not really so much what the objects are, it's what they are in relation to each other. So in this particular case, I'm going to go back up here and show you this. Wait, I'll put it here. In this particular case, right? This is one object. It's like a super object, like, because these two are kind of one big shape. They're related to, you can't draw one as set, you can't draw the apple separate from the cup. You have to, they're connected together in the way we view them. So we need to get that bigger super shape before we can start sketching out the little shapes. So it's as important, this shape, which is the shape that is not the cup, is as important to get right as the actual cup itself. This space here, right, which is the space that is not the cup or the orange, is as important to get right as the orange. But when you're in your left brain, you're constantly going to be saying, oh, this is an orange, it's over here. You're not going to be thinking about that space in between. So drawing is about shapes and how they relate to each other in space. And you notice that when it got easier for you is when you started measuring, right? I've established this distance, now I'm going to use it to establish all these other distances.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that a trip?
That is, that is a trip.
So a couple of other things to know about right brain are that, and right brain is something that needs to be exercised. So these guys will tell you. I don't think
I've ever exercised it.
Yeah, you haven't, right? But you will. Notice that left brain is constantly going to be getting into the driver's seat. So left brain wants to tell you all the time what's happening here. So one way to disengage left brain is to turn things upside down.
Why does that disengage though?
Because for some reason it stops the left brain from really understanding what they're looking at, what it's looking at. It just stops it. It stops it.
That makes sense.
So looking at it upside down, so often working upside down will help you see the shapes better. I still use this as a painter. Like I've been painting 20 years and I paint, that's what my main living is. I'm a painter, I paint for money. But that sounds really bad, but you know what I mean? I sell paintings and I make money. I still work upside down sometimes because I struggle to see exactly the angle, right, of what's happening. Also, this is there's many rules that sort of gauge how you deal with the visual right brain. When you're drawing something and you're trying to show 3 dimensions, for example, you'll notice that we know that we verbally, conceptually, left brain know that this cup is flat, right, at the base. Otherwise it couldn't sit on the table. But that's not how it looks on a flat piece of paper, right? It curves up. Why does it curve up? It's a little thing called perspective, which I'm not going to tell you about today because it'll blow your head up. It's a little bit like this here. You know, remember how we learned to draw the road?
Oh.
right? Right. So when we draw this road, right, like this, to show it going back and, you know, going away from us, notice what actually happens on the paper. We know that this road is the same size,
Yeah.
right? We also know that it's not rising up off the ground, but to show it how it looks to us on flat paper, we have to bring these lines closer together to what we call a vanishing point. And bring it up the paper. So that's the same thing that's happening here.
With the
Notice.
curve.
Yep. So there's a side to the cup, just to get really meta on you, right? Don't worry about this. This is all like further along. So the point is, there's a whole set of, yeah, is your mind like just going?
It is, yeah, I'm just.
But what's really nice is it's like exercising a muscle. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And the more you struggle with it, the more you're using your whole brain. So learning to draw is like learning a language. You're actually exercising your brain that much. And what we all know is, as we start to, so you as a speaker, as a writer, a left brain person, you know, your brain has gotten very used to those functions. And once a brain gets used to the functions, it starts doing them on automatic, right? So the whole brain stops working. And it tries to boss everything. The left brain is a pain in the neck when it comes to drawing. It's like, it's always trying to boss things around. It's always trying to tell you what's going on, yada, yada, yada. But the right brain, as you start to exercise it, will have your whole brain firing, because you're learning a new skill, and it's not, you have no background in it. So you're actually growing a new neural pathway in your brain. And as your whole brain fires, it affects how the rest of your brain works. So you will start to find that after a while, the visual spatial will begin to kind of invade in a good way the verbal conceptual. So as you exercise it more, it will begin to like kind of invade how you do other things. And it's not just a way of thinking, it's using tools. This is a tool. So is this. Right? Wow. These are tools. These are tools. And as we learn how to use tools, our hand skills get better, which is also something that's great for the brain. In fact, I think learning to draw is probably the best like treatment for avoiding dementia that you could ever get, because
Really?
Yeah, because you never get good, because you're constantly using your whole brain, which keeps your neurons firing, which stops deterioration. Dementia happens when we stop learning new things. I mean, it's more than that, but like we can stave off dementia by continuing to use our whole brain, by pushing ourselves to do things, to see things in this different way. So with drawing, that's what's happened. And would you like to see what you were drawing today?
Yeah.
Here, hold on. I'm going to pull the spotlight down. You guys are all okay just working away while I do this? Will I get on my soapbox? Let me see here. How do I remove this? Okay, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to share my video. Remove. Nope, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, talk about remove spotlight. There we go. Okay, I'm going to remove the spotlight again here. I'm going to call up something on my desktop and then show it to you so you can see what it is that you were drawing.
Okay.
I like it that you have no idea. Do you have any guesses? Do you have any guesses about it? All right, great.
So long.
No, it's good. All right. So wait, hold on. I don't want that. I want 1 minute. This drawing. You were drawing, oh, don't tell me I don't have, oh, yes. You were drawing, hang on. Sometimes my computer gets a little crazy. You were drawing this guy. You were drawing this.
Oh, yeah.
What?
You were drawing, so this is it. So let me tell you a little bit about this drawing. This is the Picasso drawing of Igor Stravinsky. So a master drew this, and you were drawing it Recognize it now?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes. So if I were to ask you, if I had handed you that drawing and said, Seyham, I want you to draw the legs of this Picasso drawing, that goes from a 6 to an 11, right? It becomes impossible, right? A 20 becomes impossible. It's an impossible assignment, but it's totally possible when you don't know what it is. So when you're just focusing, right? There we go.
I was like, it's just a bunch of lines.
Lines. So that's where you kind of have to go when you're drawing, is you stop thinking about what the thing is and you start, because that's verbal conceptual, that's your left brain, and it's not going to help you. You have a picture in your mind of the thing and you can't see what the thing is doing, right? It's related. What's really interesting is to think that this hand and this head, from a visual spatial point of view, from a right brain point of view, they're not, even though they're connected to me, they're treated separately. This is blocked in, and then this is blocked in, and this is blocked in related to this is blocked in related to this, because this is the biggest thing and the thing that we can see the most of. I will often ask people, do you start with drawing the hand or drawing the head? And a lot of people will say the head, because the left brain values the head over the hand, and because the left brain says that. But if you can't see, right, really in visual spatial terms, you can't see the head, really, except for a couple of lines. So you need to start with what you can see. So you get it, like,
I get it now how you were telling me that I was, because my brain was telling me to draw an orange, like the size of an orange.
And the shape of the orange that's in your brain. So everybody, let's take a minute just to check in here. Put yourself in gallery view so we can see you. Sandra and Claudia. Claudia, how did it go today, by the way? I want you to notice, I want you to tell me two things today. I want you to observe if you noticed a shift in your feeling by the end of class, beginning or end. No responses are wrong here. And also, what is one thing that you think you did well in class today? So Claudia, we'll start with you.
Well, it felt almost therapeutic in a way, because I got so into it. So it's almost like meditation, almost, because you're just, you're just zoned out. Actually, I'm proud because I discovered that the shape of the cup was wrong when I was starting it, and I couldn't quite figure it out in the beginning what it was, and then I did, and then I fixed it. So.
Yes. So the idea of getting the drawing right the first time is absolutely not our goal. The idea is to get lines down and then start looking at them visually to see. Brilliant. That's brilliant. Anything that you could still work on, that you want to continue to work on?
Yeah, but also I could just go on forever and ever, because I'm never like 100% satisfied, and I'm quite perfectionist. So
that's good.
Yeah, I can work on the shadows more and the shading. Yeah.
Do you on the shadow? Right. So just keep working. That's excellent. But I agree with you. I think your shapes were perfect. You got it. You nailed them. Let's see. Paul, what did you think you did well? Number one, what's your feeling at the beginning of class versus the end? Did you notice a shift?
Yes, I noticed at the beginning of the class we were working on the sphere, and I was looking at that, and then so I did really focus on the drawing aspect of it, and then towards the end of the class, I was like, wait a minute. We have to get we have the proportion, but we don't have like everything right. So
right. So getting proportions. So that's something you can work on. What is something you did well?
Getting the image right is important, because that way you don't have, when you turn something around and you the shapes and everything, but like there's got to be some sort of right brain cohesion.
I feel like your shapes are better than I've seen them in a long time. So I think your shapes are getting better. I think your control of the pencil is getting better. Yeah. You're getting it to do. You're paying more attention. Sandra, what about you? What did you think you did well in class today? I could name a bunch of things, but what do you think you did well?
So you were asking about the mood, and I was a bit anxious at the beginning because I've got an appraisal this afternoon.
Oh,
and I'm refinancing. The guy just called me. But anyway, I feel much calmer now, much more focused, and I really enjoyed this because I've never been able to do a good. You idiots, cats
Kitties,
fighting.
bad kitties.
Hey. Sorry.
I feel you, Sandra. I totally feel you.
So I don't really. Can you hear
I
us?
can hear. Yes, we can hear them. Little shitheads. Yes.
So yeah, it's the first time I've managed to do a decent. Drawing with pencil. So I think I'm
Excellent.
finally putting things together, and it was nice to be able to do it without the grid.
Yes,
And just
I'd say
using the
that's huge
proportions.
for you. Your proportions were great. You have come so far in terms of your drawing. You came already with great pastel skills, with great ability to do certain things. You know, we know this about you. Seham, you'll learn. Sandra's cats are very.
Well, I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
And like, no, but I was gonna say, you're gonna learn about Sandra's cats. They're very important.
Oh.
Speaking of the class, you can see Emma's cats in the back, the two new kittens. The boys are throwing them around and the kittens are enjoying that. Sandra, I'd agree. And so one thing that you notice, one thing you're noticing, Sam, as people are talking, is that if you start out anxious, you come away, even though you're kind of pushing yourself and working hard and not really getting it sometimes, right? Making a lot of mistakes, you still feel better at the end of class. You kind of forget time. That is the right brain way, is to forget time. And Sandra, I'd agree with you. I thought it was wonderful. Emma, do you want to say anything about I know you jumped in kind of late, but do you want to say anything about how you felt at the beginning of class versus now? Or are you just wanting to do the assignment?
No, I had a bit of a headache today. I wasn't feeling great, and I thought basically I just joined because of Seham, because I felt.
Oh, do you still have a headache? Do you still have a headache?
No, I feel better generally, and I'm glad I did it, even though it was only half a class. And I'm also glad I did. It's the first time I've done
a still life.
Charcoal for a long
charcoal.
time.
Oh, nice.
Since we did the figure drawing. And it's nice to do something that I naturally know how to do rather than something I didn't know how to do yesterday.
Right. You worked very hard yesterday. And then today you came in and look how focused you were when you could pick the material of your choice.
It looks so awful.
No, they don't. They really don't.
It looks worse this morning than it did yesterday. It's muddy.
Don't even go there. Don't even go
there.
But I want you to think that 6 months ago, that wouldn't have been the case, right? So the 100 things that you're doing well are getting the shapes right. Yeah, you nailed that thing. You came in, boom. Notice she doesn't have as much of a headache anymore. That often will happen as you sort of silence and focus that voice.
As I silence the children sitting in the room.
And silence the children. I don't know, Lana, if you want to chime in here. You guys don't have to. If you want to, you can. Seham, I want to know what you've already told me how you feel. You've already told us how you feel, that you feel better, more focused, happy, excited maybe about this new journey. What is something you think you did well today? What do you think you did well?
I'm really proud of myself, first of all, because...
Go ahead.
So I'm really proud of myself for drawing this, whatever this was. I'm really proud that I actually got to do it. And I'm also proud of myself that I didn't stress myself out or psych myself out. And I just I accepted the fact that I don't know how to draw and that I'm learning and that I don't have to be perfect at it.
You're going to be shocked at how fast it goes for you. I'm going to send you the beginning drawing lesson that I have everybody do. I've got a video. I'd like you to try it during the week. Might be way too much, but don't worry about that. Just try it. You can also listen to this video and try it again. And get yourself an eraser and a pencil. I'd agree. You made a ruler. Yeah, and a ruler. You made a huge, massive leap today. Everybody here witnessed that. You went from not knowing to knowing how to use the right brain. You went into right brain for the first time, and it's exciting. It's a whole new world, right, guys? There's no end to it. There's no end to the right brain. And you'll see the reasons why people do it, because it reduces anxiety, because even if you don't feel like doing it, if you do it like exercise, kind of religiously, you feel better at the end of it, right? Like it's worth it. Emma, even watching you perform today, I'm going to point out that yesterday's, like as we switched mediums to a new tool, like even the frustration you had from yesterday got channeled right into today's lesson. And you were like, bam, 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 you nailed it. So all of those things, that pushing against what we don't know, and then coming back to strengthening what we do know, that's all a build. It's all a build up. So congratulations, welcome. Seham, I'm going to donate your $30 to a local organization here that feeds poor Black families, basically. So they'll be excited. And I'll send you all the details on how to log in. And I'd love it if you would put this on the Egypt listserv, if you would let people in Egypt know this is available.
The big challenge for us is convincing journalists who all say they can't draw that they actually can learn it.
And there's a value to it, right? Like it helps the journalism brain, I think. I don't know. I think it helps the journalism.
I'll let you know in 6 months.
Okay.
But I'll show them my progress.
With everything.
I'll show them my pumpkin to something that resembles a mug. So.
I agree. Sandra, what were you saying?
But I think it helps not just with journalism, but with everything.
Mm-hmm. It helps with anxiety.
Yeah,
but it helps you with the way you see. It helps you. It's like it's another zone of your brain, and so yes, I guess anxiety, but so much more.
It expands your intellectual capabilities. I think it expands them because it's like using a whole new tool for evaluating situations.
Right? And also the right brain, aside from being good at drawing, can do a lot of things. And it's fantastic to be able to invoke it and use it and train it. It can help you in daily life, I think.
It really can. It really can help in daily life. It helps with everything. It changed things for me completely. I was a reporter until I was 30. I never knew how to draw. I started learning to draw when I was 32. Just 10 years ago. No, just kidding. 20 years ago. Just 5 years ago. I know I'm only 39. And I'll tell you, as I told these guys, I cried, I screamed. I wanted to paint. And like Sandra, I was good with paint. Or I was good with the medium. I was good with paint. I was not a good drawer. I didn't know the first thing. But I was able to kind of mimic with color blocks and patches of things to try and pull something together. But when I had to learn the theory, it was awful. It was really hard. And I was used to being a smart person like all you guys are, right? You're used to being the smart person in the room. And then you're like, I'm the dumbest person in the room because I don't know anything about this model. So everything that I teach you, I remember vividly going through myself. This is not something I grew up learning to do. And so I remember the pain of it. And I also remember the total wonder and the value of it. Like the pain was totally worth how much I learned about how to draw and how to be engaged and how to it changed everything for me. How to spend my time, how to feel productive, how to feel good at the end of 2 hours instead of crappy. Right? Like watching a movie, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not, but like watching too much sort of TV can make one's brain feel kind of sluggish because you stop working. But this is an active, engaged process. And we can be on Zoom without feeling like we're on Zoom all the time. Anyway, sorry, we've gone well past the class. I totally appreciate this lesson. I'm looking forward to the end. Say how you can tell people to listen to the video.
I will.
And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for pastel landscapes. Emma, you might really enjoy that. And if you wanted to, you could do it in charcoal. So you could just do it as a black and white while everybody else is doing the pastels. You may really enjoy that. So
what's the scene?
It's a landscape. It's like Marie's teaching it.
It's a landscape with trees. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Well, now I've got the full-size pastel sandpaper. I might actually enjoy
You might actually want to try it.
I don't have to stick it together with sticky tape.
And Claudia and Sandra took it last week and I think really enjoyed it, right? Ladies, you came up with really great stuff.
I'm looking
Marie's
forward to tomorrow.
She's a good teacher, and it's kind of like a break from you get to still work with color, but you're working with a tool that's more familiar to you. So anyway, all right, you guys, we'll see you some tomorrow, some next week. Seham, I'll email you all the details. And Emma, I'll send you the detail on how to get your friend to register privately. I'll send that as well. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Oh, I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad. I'm so glad that went well. Yay. Bye, guys.